they're playing more to the meta.
Okay.
So they're a team that's known to play, Baptiste, Grace, Glaive really well. So they need to adapt to the meta and make sure that they stay up to date.
All right, well, the draft is about to get underway. What are we anticipating coming through here? Are we just going to see those same 4 priority picks? I mean, Grace is going to be the first ban, so you'd expect a similar thing to follow suit.
I actually wouldn't mind if Dynasty went ahead and banned the Vox here. Again, taking Vox away from Apfel, I think is just a really strong idea, and then leaves open both the Baron and the Grumpjaw as power picks, and you can guarantee that you're going to get one of those two. And but we'll see where they decide to go with it. It is going to be a Kestrel ban, so again, focusing I'm the Doom, making sure that he does not get that CP Kestrel.
This is the thing. I'm the Doom has like a global taunt on that Kestrel. You have to respect it because he is terrifying. Lyra going to be the first pick for Mousesports. We've seen a lot of first pick Lyras in both Europe and North America, Sujay.
Yeah, Lyra is, this is more meta now because they're not picking Arden. Lyra is better than Arden from my perspective, even though Arden is a strong captain. This leaves Baron open. We have a Grumpjaw open. There's a lot of options now Dynasty can pick based on the meta. They may pick a captain to secure that and then see what bans come out, but they're going to actually go with the Baron here, which is kind of risky because Lyra is very strong. They need to ban Idris here specifically because Idris Lyra is going to counter Baron extremely hard. And Lyra is very good because when she portals in and puts out that bulwark, Baron can't jump out. The bulwark can actually catch him and stop his jump. So they need to be paid very carefully here. But they definitely need to ban Idris or a melee hero that they know Apfel plays really well that can get onto this Baron.
Do you consider banning Grumpjaw here, or do you consider looking to pick up a Grumpjaw alongside this Baron on your next pick?
You could definitely look for the Grumpjaw. We've seen actually in Challengers a couple teams have started to run and bring back the double weapon compositions. I think they're still very, very strong. It depends on what your opponents pick up, but they're going to ban the Grumpjaw. This is very risky because the chances of them picking an Idris are very, very low. And again, if you leave open the Idris for the side of Mousesports, Lyra Idris, that is a great way to deal with the Baron.
And Baptiste was a very smart ban by Mousesports because Baptiste can at least CC and help contain Idris a little bit. Dynasty's going to go ahead for the Black Feather. He's going to definitely be CP Black Feather here. Now this leaves Idris open on the side of Mousesports. And they can basically pick a composition that completely counters the Baron and just kind of avoid the BF, so to speak. So I think Idris may be a good pick. They may opt for a Vox, actually. But if you play Vox, you need to snowball against Baron because Baron is going to counter the Vox late game for sure. Because Apfel is really good on Vox. I actually go with the Jewel, which is actually, I like Jewel. The thing is, late game, she can't keep up with the Baron. She's not mobile like Blackfeather or Idris that can stick onto the Baron. So let's see what they're going to pick in jungle here. Maybe potentially Samuel here with the Jewel. We'll see.
So at this point, is Jewel just a pick that you're only allowed to use if you're the top team of your region at the time? Because it's only TSM and Maz that seem to like it right now.
Yeah, Jewel's been picked a total of 4 times. This will make their 5th pick. TSM has half of those. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to work out in this situation. You know, fighting Burst with Burst, I guess, is going to be the game plan here for the side of Mousesports. But again, if Baron is able to position himself properly, if he can get behind Jewel or just get to her back at all where there's no armor, she is going to just get deleted.
Yeah, Jewel does have that perk though. She is armor. She has 175 armor and shield once she reaches level 12, plus any additional armor from Metal Jacket, etc. So Taka is a very, very good pick because without Lyra on Baron's side, Taka can basically just get onto Baron. So they'll probably pick Arden here because Arden, they need someone to basically give Baron the barrier, put a gauntlet down to basically CC the Taka so he can't escape. But Mousesports draft, this looks a pretty even draft, but I think late game Dynasty will win and early game Mousesports will win, especially at level 6 when Taka hits that power spike.
So once again, like with basically all compositions with Baron in it, the opponent has to shut it down early. They have to take control of this one. But Arden, that's a great pick for protecting a Baron.
It really is. It does a lot to make sure that Baron can stay healthy through the early game, give him plenty of shielding, and it's a really good anti-invasion hero as well. It makes it difficult to actually try and take out your opponents in the early game. But Taka and Jewel, again, early on, definitely are going to have the advantage. It's just that Mousesports has to play extremely aggressive.
Okay, and that Lyra going to be able to back them up. It definitely feels like the Lyra attacker, similar to like the Grumpjaw Adagio that we see a lot, where it's like one of them is going to go in very aggressively and the other is there to help them survive that situation. How are we feeling about the compositions then? Do we feel either team has an advantage going into this one?
Yeah, Mousesports has the early game advantage for sure because they have Lyra. Jewel is actually really strong in the early game because of her perk, her shooting and armor perk, and also Thunderstrike damage. But late game, Baron and CP Blackfire can completely outscale both heroes there. So they need to win early game and Snowball for sure to win.
Okay, so the onus is on Mouse to really push this one forward then. Thoughts, Bacon?
Yeah, I mean, the onus is absolutely on Mouse to be aggressive, win this early game, and win it decisively. At the same time, obviously for Dynasty, they need to be aware of that. They know that they're going to try and go aggressive, so they need to be able to play defensive early.
All right, we'll see if they're going to be able to make that happen. Now, Dynasty, they don't win the tiebreaker against G2, so they absolutely need to win games in this series. We'll see if they're going to be able to make that happen. Hashtag Vainglory8 is how you can let us know whether you're supporting Mouse or whether you believe in the Dynasty upset coming on to this one. Can Mouse return to form? It's time to head onto the Halcyon Fold and find out as we pass it over to our casters.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be an incredibly exciting matchup here. Mouse up against Dynasty Xingyi. And with these drafts, this is going to be a very intense matchup, I expect, as we get into the mid-game here.
I think so, and I really like the composition coming up from Mousesports. I love the dive potential going to Baron, because I feel like when a lot of teams pick Baron, the opposing team usually struggle. That is the main problem, is that they really struggle to get on top of the Baron. But I think as we get into the late game, they have a lot of utility available with that Lyra, Duel, and Taka combination, just to dive straight onto PT Lamb, throw up a bulwark, and just completely focus him down. That does depend on how it goes into the late game, though. And I think there's definitely potential for Dynasty Gaming to have a very strong game, but it does completely depend on how the early game plays out, I feel.
Absolutely. I mean, every single member of Dynasty could be shut down by a well-placed Rifle Ward.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think going to what Munchables was saying on the desk, was that with this Taka Lyra combo, you can have Taka in the front line, Lyra just is there to offer support. But also, if Taka feels like he needs to disengage from the fight, he can just run away and Lyra can throw up that bulwark, preventing from any follow-up there from Dynasty Gaming. So Lyra in this, I feel like, offers a lot of utility to the composition, and there's many ways that this could be played out either offensively or defensively as we progress through.
And I feel like this Jewel, the Weapon Jewel, is a very Apfelly type of hero. I mean, he loves to play aggressively, dive, jump into the backlines, get onto targets, crush them, crush their souls, and that's what Jewel really likes to do.
Yeah, and I can definitely see him playing off well. Weapon Duel is not something that we see as often in this meta, and I think when we do see her played, especially with this composition, it can work out really well. The issue is with the stun, going into the stun, is if you go in and you miss it, you could be in a very precarious position, but because you've got Attacker there who can also engage very quickly into the fight, that could end up going quite well for the fight. But then also you do have this Arden as well. Oh no.
I'm the Doom. He's going to get jumped on in the jungle. Bright Bulwark's down. This could be enough to get him out of here. I'm the Doom over the top with the kite. Has he bought enough time? The Sigil boosted again. Rikameza gets the Vanguard, jumps forward. Vein of Heart. He's looking for an on point and gonna miss it. Swing and a miss. Rikameza is still chasing down. I am the Doom. One bush, two, throws out his flare. Can he get out of here? Attacks for the movement over the top of the kite. But that's not the Sigil you wanted. Ghost trolls out his teammate. First blood for Dynasty.
I think that's one of the issues that could be a little bit more difficult for Lyra, trying to land those heals, as that Taka is so quick. It can be difficult to anticipate where he is going to be going at all times. And I think that was one of the instances where it kind of exemplified that, to be honest.
Doom definitely put himself in that position because he had gotten into his Kakub and he fought over that middle train up there, over that healer. So if he didn't fight for the mids, he would have gotten away for sure, but he just really wanted to contest that.
And, well, he contested that, he did, but one kill went down. Not so bad. They're 300 gold behind right now, which really is insignificant at this point. We weren't able to see Rikametsa Mowgli contest their jungle for it, so actually it's all's well that ends well. And what I really like coming up from Dynasty Gaming is that they're consistently using these minion candies, forcing Apfel to stay in the lane. He is unable to rotate down, otherwise we'll see that lane pushing right up. And I really like this kind of rotational thinking coming out from Dynasty right now.
Yeah, really smart plays. I like the minion candy usage as well. Allows PT Lamb to get back, pick up a couple items. He's got 4 potions as he makes his way back out in the lane. He knows he's going to take some damage. He's up against the Lyra. He's going to bring as much sustain as possible. 4 minutes in, and the jungle has intensified.
Yeah, jungle has intensified. Ghost has picked up the fountain, and Mowgli is still about 350 gold off from getting his first fountain as well. So it's a really comfortable position for Mousesports to be in. They're trying to get the kill.
Aphel, nice double stun as he jumps back to buy a little space for Ghost. Double on-point landing coming out of Rinkames as he's building towards that Shatterglass, I imagine. All of Dynasty kind of clumped up towards the lane. PT Lamb hanging out. Jump Jets, double attack going off. Just in the lane minions, he's just going to clear this out. We'll see if he ports again or what they decide to do at this point. Maybe rotating as 3, looking to take maybe the front camps away from Mouse or something like that. Early on, though, yeah, this is a pretty even game.
Pretty even game, but then I'm the Doom. As that Taka, he's going for that Storm Crown first. He's got the Stormguard banner. I don't think that's the best position for Taka to be picking those fights. Yes, you've got the clear speed needed at this point for Taka. And I think we kind of just want to see him pick up his first damage item, getting that Storm Crown, and maybe even going for that Aftershock before I feel like Mousesports are going to be in a good position to fight. Right now, I feel like we don't quite measure up to Dynasty Gaming in terms of itemization right now.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, right? Like, you know, our analyst talked about it. You don't want to get into the late game. Dynasty are going to hit like trucks. I'm kind of on not disagreeing with them, but I think Mouse will hit almost equally as hard when you get into the late game. If they can prioritize targets, the burst is going to be insane. PT Lamb's not going to want to build too much defense as this game goes on. Right now, Apfel's getting to the point where if he starts to land some Thunder Strikes, you should be feeling this.
I think we should be feeling this. What you're saying about Mousesports hitting like a chalk, I definitely agree with you there. I think it's what's really concerning for me is I'm looking at this Taka and then I'm looking at the composition of Dynasty Gaming, and there's really not that much lockdown available there. So, and especially for a Crystal Taka, if he's able to use his Kaku, he can heal right back up. It's gonna be very difficult for them to focus him down. And I think that's a very scary thought there.
Doom X-Retsus, and then Chitin's over Mowgli. Mouse is clumped up as 3. Actually, Rocket Leap's going to land onto Mowgli. Thunder Strike and a couple attacks. Almost take Mowgli down, forced to self-Vanguard and Fountain. So now there's Fountain advantage coming out for Mouse, who obviously know what's going on. Network's still even, but Mouse march forward. 2-man Thunder Strike landing. And one of the big things also, we're really waiting for that overdrive on the Thunder Strike as well, right?
We absolutely are. I think the moment we get that overdrive there, Dynasty Gaming are really going to have to adjust the way they're playing right now. Actually, they're going on to PT Lab.
Yeah, Doom just jumping in deep. I mean, you can see Baron taking so much damage. Ion Cannon called down very defensively as Apfel Rocket Leaps back. Ghost is going to give him a little bit of healing, but it looks like they want to port back, go ahead and regen up, buy some items, and then get back out on the map. It looks like Apfel will be moving towards Tornado Trigger, potentially.
I think so. I think that works really well because it synergizes with his Tornado Trigger really well. So once he gets a Tornado Trigger, he will have it about every that skill every second.
Yep.
And the critical strike as well. You have that. So there's a lot there. I think Tornado Trigger is a really good item. We're seeing a lot of people, not just Jules, picking up as well. And like you're saying, we are waiting for that overdrive there. So 2 more levels to go. And then you can start critically striking as well, which is going to work really well with the Tornado Trigger as well.
All right, well, Dynasty, as 3 moving forward, Mouse hanging out as a group. You can see PT Lamb doing his best to just kind of farm out this wave and then hang out. He's occasionally dropping into the jungle. Farm pretty good for both laners at this point. PT Lamb 86, CS to Apfel's 80. Both doing pretty good. PT Lamb a slight advantage at this point. But as Apfel gets closer and closer to getting his critical strike out and maybe into his 3rd item, that's where the weapon jewel really starts to come alive.
She's already beginning to hurt quite a lot there. You know, every time they're fully engaging the fight, we are seeing Dynasty Gaming just being forced to back away, and this does come. Oh, PT Lamb going straight in there.
Yeah, Apfel taking a pretty good amount of damage, but I'm the Doom. He was on to Rikameza on the backside. Gauntlet's not going to connect. On point will, though. Ghost is sitting inside the Gauntlet. He has all of his tools available if he wants to get out. It's his choice. He chooses to stay in there. Thunderstrike will miss from Apfel onto Mowgli. Mouse as 3 with Rikameza porting back to the base. He's making his way back out onto the map. I'm the Doom's going to see the mids there. He'll X-Ratsu Kite to go ahead and clean that up. That won't be available for Rikameza as he makes his way back out. There's 3 from Dynasty Gaming. They're on to Apfel. Defensive Rocket Leap, and Ghost has to boot himself backwards. That's very unfortunate turn of events right there, that Mouse allowed themselves to take so much damage, and now on the back foot.
They are on the back foot, but they're able to heal back up.
They move back in. Who's on the back foot? I'm just kidding right there. I'm the Doom. He's gonna get the fountain, and look at that, the base is coming out. I was right, they were on the back foot. You're dead. I'm the Doom. Get taken down. Rocket Leap. Atfel Rocket Leap's defensively more this game than offensively, and that's not really what you want. On point, doing a lot of work for Rikumeza, and honestly, you only have to connect like with one or two on points. They're 1 points, and then you just jump forward with PT Lam, and exactly. That's literally what taking him down. Ghost doesn't have the heals, and this is Dynasty Gaming just taking control of this game.
Well, they were on the back foot, like you said, and I feel like there's a bit of an overextension there coming out from the Taka as he engaged, because he went straight into the middle of all three members of Dynasty Gaming there, and I feel like Ghost and At4 were a little bit too far away, so Ghost wasn't able to use his sigil there to heal him up as we would have liked. And they've lost the turret off that, and they've lost Apfel and I'm the Doom from that little fight. They're only 2k behind at this point, and I feel like we still have a lot of potential there for Mousesports to come into their own in terms of itemization, because I feel like the moment I'm the Doom either picks up that Shatter Glass, it's going to be hitting like a truck, because PT Lam, he has no crystal defense right now. There's no shielding there whatsoever. And I feel like there's a very dirty combination that can definitely be pulled out with Mousesports. If we see an Arcane Passage combined with a Bulwark followed up by Atfel and I'm the Doom, they can really focus on PT Lam right now. But they are still a little bit on the back foot in terms of not quite having the items that they need.
Well, I mean, that was my question. Was he going to go into Shatterglass? He actually just delayed and picked up Aftershock in the end, as well as an Infusion. So he's really far away from his next CP item, but he did kind of pivot there, and it's weird because, like, based off the items he did pick up, that's kind of what I was thinking as well.
I was thinking Shatterglass, and especially looking at the composition, I feel like Aftershock would have gone really well if maybe Blackfeather and Baronhead were a little bit more tanky, but they're not. And I feel like in terms of damage and hard hittingness, you want to have a Shatterglass over the Aftershock. So yeah, to me as well, is a little bit of surprise. I feel like he had the gold as well to go straight into Shatterglass.
I like that Mowgli's picked up the Contrapts in this game. He seems to be getting pretty good efficiency out of it. Just an all-around good item for the Arden, and game-specific, very smart pickup here.
You definitely want that, especially for picking up the Taka. I like where he's placing them in the lane. So if we do see Amdidum trying to go in for a sneaky engage, they're able to catch him out and then back away appropriately. And especially once you get into the late game as well, you're really going to be wanting that contraption there. And it just really negates a lot of the effect coming out from that Crystal Taka.
Well, I'm the Doom. Jumps in here. He's going to get his X-Ratu off onto Rikumeza. Rikumeza really doesn't take much damage at all, and any of the damage that Mouse took, they just get healed right back up by Lyra's Imperial Sigil. So both teams kind of, swinging back and forth at each other, but not fully committing to these fights just yet. I think they both realize that each team has significant damage output. They really need to have a decent engage. Ion Cannon is going to be coming down just a little too late, as a immense gold payout will be going the way of Mousesports.
You have to get that. They kind of, they're still a little bit behind, about 1.5k gold behind. One thing I do want to point out is that Apfel, we were talking a few minutes ago about how he looks like he was going for that Tornado Trigger, and he too, like Amdidum, has gone for a little bit different, and he's gone for that Tyrant's Monocle first, which I think does make sense with the duel. It's something that we do commonly see on a lot of weapon duels. And he now has his his Thunderstrike Overdriven as well.
Oh, crit them down, huh? This is it. This is okay.
Hit and crit.
This is your time to shine like you have never shown. This is the time to get in there.
I feel like Mousesports have been shining a lot, though.
Have they?
Yeah, I mean they're number one in the Europe placements. So, I mean that is kind of showing that they've been shining.
It's pretty good. Number one is pretty good. True. But the last week,
yeah,
some momentum stalled out a little bit. Let's see if they can pick things up here moving forward. Atfel in the lane, farming up his Dynasty. Group up as three. They appear to be ready to go. Infusion on PT Lam and Rikumeza would signal that Dynasty Gaming are definitely ready to fight.
And Mousesports are also seeing a lot of gold as well. So Atfel, he's got the Tornado Trigger now, as we were anticipating.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I'm the Doom. I want I'm the Doom to shop, but what's he waiting for?
He got a Shatterglass.
Oh, he's got the Shatterglass. That's good. I like that.
Oh, he got the Shatterglass. Got the Shatterglass. Jump on the PT Lam. Get in there. They just need to both jump in there and just take him down with a bright bulwark. Oh, look at that big red tickle coming through the choke point there as Dynasty Gaming just go ahead and reposition backwards. Not quite connecting. Honestly, big red button on the weapon Joel is just best for like clearing a wave. Typically, Mowgli comes down.
No.
He's going to find the stun. Abfell hit on the back with a couple of attacks out of PT Lamb. That's not how you want it to happen. They're going to throw the sigil out, but that's not the healing that typically you're looking for out of the Lyra. Jump forward, PT Lamb. I'm the Doom dodges one out, but they're going to lose Ghost 83. Abfell trying to stand his ground with PT Lamb. Thunderstrike's coming through. He crits, but he goes down. Ace in the end. Dynasty Gaming cleaning it up, turning it up, and really just the aggressors in that fight. Mouse on the back foot.
Mouse absolutely on the back foot. Mowgli there, really nice placement of the gauntlet. It really forced that fountain of renewal out, and I think there's, you could really question whether or not that fountain was needed to keep Apfel alive. And I think that early fountain, the healing was enough, and I'm going to question if it was right for Doom to go in as he did, because every single time he's gone in 1 versus 3, it's never gone out very well because he's unable to focus on one particular member there.
They just need to all go in. They need to all go in at once, and the problem was Apfel and Ghost were ready, and I'm the Doom was just a split second behind. And as they retreated, it was probably still the same original goat call that Doom chose to go in off of that. That's a team communication thing, but it's positioning and communication. Honestly, this was Dynasty just being kind of a step ahead of Mouse.
Yes, absolutely. Did you say goat call?
Go call.
Oh, I think it's like goat call.
Like your go call to
Right.
fight. Someone makes the call to go.
I always thought it was like a new term, like goat, like, goat equals potato or something like that. I was like, I'm not familiar with this term, and I feel like I need to clarify it.
Call.
But yeah, absolutely, Mousesports, with the composition that they have, this is one that absolutely relies on all 3 members fully committing into the fights. And right now we are seeing a little bit of disjointedness coming out for them that, like you said, may just be down to miscommunication. And as we were saying before, they lost their momentum last week, and it's kind of eyes are on them to see whether or not it's been picking up for this week or not. And so far, I'm inclined to say no.
Gauntlet down, stun on to Ghost.
Oh,
this is I'm the Doom trying to get on target, but he's down. Apfel against the world. Apfel's gonna try and stand his ground. He's on the PT Lamb, getting good damage. He takes him down. See, honestly, Weapon Joel's pretty good. It's pretty good. He just stood his ground. He took him down. That's what you gotta do. Just commit to the fight in the beginning. First kill comes on the board for Mouse, but they lost the fight. And depending how this goes, could be Kraken going the way of Dynasty. Ghost is going to hang around. Flares do come out from both teams. I don't know. Dynasty probably... Oh, yeah, they're going to drop off for this.
They're going to drop it all. I mean, I feel like that fight. So, again, I'm the Doom stunned himself on that gauntlet when he was trying to go into PT Lamb. So that wasn't great. That led him to just focus down that Tagger.
It was not great.
It was not great. It may have been a goat call, as you said.
Classic goat call.
Classic goats. But yeah, that wasn't a good example. But like when we did see that Jill fully commit, she was able to take down the kill. Like she was going down really fast, but she was dealing a lot of damage to PT Lamb, who has an Aegis but no armor. So every single hit, every single thunder strike that was landing was demolishing PT Lamb. And we want to be seeing this focus coming out. Again, although they're able to pick up that 1 kill, if they fully commit, they are more than capable of getting an ace there. But don't fight in the channel like that.
Oh, Gauntlet's gonna whiff. This is exactly what they need. Wait for this to time out and just goat right on to PT Lamb. If they do it as a team, they can find the kill. Honestly, they could probably, if Rikameza steps out of line, just slap him down into the dirt as well. There's a lot of damage output. They gotta focus though. You need target focus. And don't turn your back. Quit turning your back to the Baron. You respect the Baron, you face him, you treat him like the ocean. You ever go visit the ocean and you stand down with your feet in the water, you never turn your back on the ocean. That's rule number 1. Basically the same thing with Baron.
That is the same thing with Baron. And also, I like that Dynasty is forcing Mousesports to play by their rules. They're forcing them to fight in the lane. And I feel like Mousesports, they want to be fighting in the jungle. There's so much more room for maneuver, for Taka to jump in, for Jill to jump in. They do not want to be fighting in the lane.
Apfel over, finds the stun, he's on target on the PT Lamb, right bulwark's down, get in there. Apfel's taking so much damage though, and how about a couple basic attacks? PT Lamb's like, yo, I just gotta hit you once or twice, and that's gonna be Rikameza taking the double kill. A couple broken mid stacks, he's gonna chase I'm the Doom on point, doesn't connect. I'm Doom Lukaku, and it's gonna hang around here in stealth, but it's gonna be Mowgli just grabbing a bunch of vision to make sure that they don't get caught out here as Mouse lose 2, Dynasty Gaming grab 2, 10-1, about 18 minutes in here. This is a really fun game.
It is a very, very fun game. And they know he's there. They know he's there. He's going in. Oh, no.
You got this one.
He does not have this one.
I was going to say, you got the play-by-play on this one.
I know,
Jingle
but I was talking about the Doom, and he did not have that steal.
No, he didn't. Valiant effort? Question mark?
Question mark. The contraption's doing a lot. I feel like if Mowgli didn't have that contraption, didn't have that sketch up there, maybe they stood a chance of stealing it. But Mousesports, it's hard to see if they're going to come back from this Kraken push.
Yeah, it really feels like they're not at this point. It feels like they're not going to come back. I mean, at the same time, they have the tools. There's a possibility, but their failure to get onto a target, focus them down together before they can reposition, before PT Lamb can jump jets backwards, just hasn't been enough. Let's go. All right, Kraken moves forward. It's going to get onto the Vein Crystal turrets pretty soon. PT Lamb just hugging the edge of his attack range. Maybe looking to bait someone in and then jump back. There you go. You're pulled forward, Bright Bulwark. He gets his jump jets, turns, hits half a lapful, dies mid-rocket leap. That does not feel too good, man. Lamb is just going to slap Mouse up in their healing platform as the rest of his team just moves forward. A gauntlet down. Mowgli just stunning up Ghost on the edge, style points. How do you calculate gauntlets so well? A second stun on the Ghost. And I'm the Doom is just like, I'll watch. I'm just going to watch from up here.
That's exactly what he did there. He just watched as that game crashed and burned there for Mousesports. I feel like there was a lot of hype at the start of the game looking at the compositions where like this is perfect for Mousesports. They have so much dive. This is going to be a really hard counter towards that Baron. And every single fight, every single engagement, there was a lack of synergy coming up from Mousesports. They were just going in at different times, and I think that really just allowed things to kind of fall flat on the face there for Mousesports in terms of trying to get the level of aggression that they needed.
Yeah, that was a pretty good game one. Exciting stuff, even though Mouse do go down. But our analysts had a lot to say before that game started. Let's see what they have to say now.
Well, Dynasty have managed to start things off strong, and a huge thing that we failed to mention was the fact that Justman isn't playing today. It's Ghost stepping in instead. It feels like that's been a significant impact on the power of Mouse right now.
Yeah, definitely didn't look as crisp or clean as we normally see Mouse. Even last week when they didn't perform quite as well, they looked a little bit cleaner than what we saw from them. But same thing, you have to give credit to Dynasty. Like Dynasty played this very well. They played their composition. They played to their win strength. They let the game, they let themselves scale up a bit and were able to find kills.
And also, once again, Baron just does terrifying things when you manage to get it in.
Yeah, Mousesports needed to focus at Baron. Jewel was playing too fear. Lyra did not do many portal engages. They needed to get that portal engage, that bulwark up, because when that bulwark is up, Arden cannot Vanguard Baron. And that's the win condition they need to do is Jewel and Taka both need to focus Baron, delete him, and then focus on the Black Feather. But a lot of times, they didn't do that. They would sometimes focus BF, which to me doesn't make the most sense, because Baron is their damage here. He's a guy that does so much AoE damage. This is Xretsu into the Gauntlet here. This is a really bad play by I'm the Doom. Gets deleted immediately. And they had one fight where after this fight, Dynasty whiffs the Gauntlet, and they almost win a fight when they get right here. This happens right here, but Lyra doesn't get the bulwark up fast enough. She needed to put that bulwark immediately because Mowgli actually vanguarded Baron immediately when he was stunned. Baron was stunned in that fight. They should have deleted him immediately if that bulwark was up in time, prevent the vanguard from landing on him, and they would have won that fight. But just things did not work out for this team and how the synergy played out.
Yeah, so it definitely feels like just the coordination really not quite there in the same way that it would be if Justman was playing with Ghost. And do we feel like that's just a matter of perhaps not having as much practice with this sub? Do we think that that's enough to really affect Mouse coming into the second game of the series? Do we think that Mouse can get back in onto this one?
It's part of it. I think it's you have to think of that, but at the same time, I think a lot of this victory was just Dynasty looking better than they did previously. Mowgli when he tweets it out, when he apparently only tweets it out when he's very confident in the fact that they have improved. I mean, Riku Meza was incredible on this Black Feather too. 7-0-4 as his scoreline was really, really strong play just all across the board from Dynasty.
Yeah, they managed to really pull a blinder. They had an amazing draft. Let's start to look at the draft for this upcoming game as well. What needs to change here for Mouse? Because I feel like their composition in theory was great, but wasn't really able to come into fruition on that one. Do we need to just see them take away the Baron or like pick that up for themselves? It feels like every game across the course of today has revolved around Baron so far.
Yeah, although I did not like the Jewel pick, it still could have worked. They should have picked Idris with Taka, but still, they should have engaged with the Lyra portal, bulwark, prevent the Vanguard from landing on Baron, get a stun on him, and just delete the Baron. And they just didn't play to their win conditions. And when the Gauntlet was used, they need to reflex and play around it and still get onto the Baron. But instead, Taka gets Exratsu's into the Gauntlet. There's a lot of misplays, honestly, and I don't feel like it was really the draft. It's Mousesports just was playing really bad. I mean, they're playing really scared, and this is a team that plays really aggressive, really proactive, and they played really passive that game. And you can't play passive when you have Lyra with Ataka and a Jewel.
It may well be the fact that Justman could be their shot caller, perhaps, and without his in-game communication, they're starting to struggle. Well, the draft is well and truly underway. Kestrel and Baron bound away, and then Grace and Vox locked in. Definitely a good start to the draft for Mouse here.
Yeah, I really like this draft. Idris ban comes out. This is like the typical Mousesports ban. Is they ban Baron and they ban Idris. They take Vox, but Vox is very good into Grace because he's mobile. He can dance and jump around her. It's really hard to land a Holy Nova on a good Vox. So I think here Dynasty will most likely ban like Samuel, because Samuel along with Vox is very good into Grace. The constant slow, the mobility, the Frostburn. So I feel like Samuel. Oh, they're actually going to ban Finn because Finn is also a good counter against Grace as well because he can stand his ground. He can't be stunned.
Yeah, Finn definitely always going to be a useful addition to any team, but it does mean that Lyra is going to go on through. So Vox, Lyra, two very powerful picks for Mouse so far.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Mousesports. When they go with this draft, they know how to play against Grace. They're one of the few teams that has been able to regularly defeat Grace. You know, it's not many teams that can say that, and so they know what to do against this hero. That's why I'm really glad that they banned away the Baron, allowed the Grace to go through. If anything, it's, like I said, something that they know what to do to deal with. The Scarf pickup, though, for Dynasty. This is something that's going to be a little bit of a change of pace for them.
I was about to say Riku Meza's got his Black Feather again, but with the Scarf, I would assume that one goes over to Riku Meza instead.
Yeah, it's going to be a Jungle Scarf and a Weapon Black Feather. So I like the composition. It makes sense because Grace and Black Feather want to dive. Scarf wants to do damage from the back line. So this is actually a pretty decent composition on Dynasty side. I think Mousesports here with a composition that wants to dive, Samuel is really good into that because as long as he uses Drifting Dog properly, he can then use Mass Invert to slow and slow down the dive and do a lot of damage AoE because Grace and Black Feather will be on top of each other, so to speak. So Samuel's only picked up, and Samuel and Lyra is just a meta composition. It's very strong. I really like Vox and Apple here.
Yeah, Vox is going to be very strong. Both Vox and Samuel, they like these elongated fights. They like to be able to consistently poke down, and then once you get to the late game, once like breaking point stacks are on your Vox, for example, you can start to clean things up. But on the other side, Scarf's a big fan of long fights as well, so we'll have to see how these ones go. How are we feeling these compositions have panned out? Is this going to be a dramatically different game to what we saw in Game 1 in terms of how these guys have to play this out?
It should be. It should be dramatically different as long as Mouse plays to this composition, don't make a lot of the silly mistakes that we saw in game number 1. I think Mouse actually has a really good shot of winning this one. They've got the counters, they've got the ways to deal with Grace. The big question is going to be, will they be able to deal with this Scarf if the game goes late?
Okay, what do you reckon, Sweetjay? Can they play around this Scarf?
The draft is pretty even, I would say, based on who's going to outplay who, but I think I really like Afro and Vox. So I think I'm going to go with Mousesports here. Hopefully they pull the win.
Okay, we could well have a 3-game series on our hands, but a lot still to play for. This is an even draft. Let us know who you're supporting. Hashtag Vainglory8 on Twitter. Get involved in the conversation and get online. But we're about to get this game online as well, as it's time to pass it over once again to our casters for the second game of the series.
Thank you very much, Munchables. The man, the host, the legend, passes it over one more time to myself and Shingle Bells. We're ready for Game 2, Dynasty Gaming, taking on Mousesports here. And Mouse, a little bit better draft than Game 1, according to our analysts. Shinny.
A little bit. I feel like we are seeing them a bit more in their comfort picks. I think we were saying before the game starts that I certainly believe that I'm the Doom is a bit more comfortable on those crystal ranged heroes. The Taka for him, for me, felt a little bit off. And
was that because he X-Retsu'd into the gauntlet and stuff like that?
It's not just that. I feel like every other time I've seen him playing Taka, I've always felt, I don't think this is his best hero. And it's so apparent when you see him play heroes like Samuel and heroes like that Crystal Kester. You're like, damn, this guy's really good. And then also seeing Apple and that Vox, they are going back to what they're used to, and I think that's really key in this. And however, Dynasty Gaming as well, that Scarf I feel like is a bit of a wild card, but I do like it. It gives them the chance to really push at those targets in the late game. and this would certainly be a 3-game series.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Dynasty Gaming, PT Liam using the Minion Candy for the second game in a row. Maybe this is something that they're trying to do. I mean, compositionally, it's going to be okay for him here. And he's kind of bullying out Apfel in the moment. Our junglers are kind of playing games with each other. Mowgli poking. He's going to jump in with the Benediction onto I'm the Doom. Ghost gets him the heal, the reposition backwards. PT Lamb dropping down from the lane. The lane's in a great position due to that Minion Candy. So they can have a 3-man Elder Treant party here pretty easily.
I like it. The Minion Candy was certainly a big key element of that. Like, it allowed him to push the lane right up into Apfel, so he could help his teammates if needed for those aggressive jungle pushes, which they weren't able to execute, but they got the Treants, which you want for Rikumetsu and Mowgli. And I want to see them consistently having those candies, because this is the opportunity that I sense coming out from Dynasty Gaming, is that, especially with that Scarf there, if they're able to do a 3-man push with the Minion Candy, Scarf uses a Spitfire and then Goop onto the turret, they can burn those turrets really fast, burn those turrets down really quickly. And that is one of the components of an early game Scarf, is that you have the ability to push down those objectives quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something we talk all the time about compositionally. How is this team fight going to stack up against this team fight? We'll hold that Drifting Dark. Mousesports not connecting on the first round, but the second round will splashing onto Dynasty Game and Mowgli. PT Lamb taking a bunch of damage. Mouse on the chase, but not able to take anybody down. I think that's a big thing that, you know, you have to keep in mind with Scarf. He's so good at taking the objectives. PT Lamb, so much damage coming out. Mowgli actually holding a Protector contract this game.
I like it. Yeah, the Protector contract I think works really well with the Grace. What we're seeing in the jungle is that she's getting right up into their faces there, and especially when you do have a Vox there and a Samuel, they are going to be hit by that poke quite easily. So having that Protector contract there allows her to be a little bit more aggressive. But right now we are seeing Scarf and Samuel being a little bit
PT Lamb got every last hit under that turret. You see, that was like a double wave. He got every single one, I'm pretty sure. That was good.
Yeah, he's keeping up with Apple 27-25, and in the jungle as well, it's very even there as well, 16-18. So in terms of farm, both of the teams are very well matched so far.
Both teams very evenly matched up. Small net worth, of course, for Dynasty at this point. I'm really curious to see how the Scarf's gonna do as we get into these fights later on. You know, I'm the Doom. He has to fight around that Drifting Dark, so, you know, Dynasty try to wait it out. They just try to outplay them in the middle of the fight, even if that comes out, even if the Samuel is empowered with his Malice and Verdicts. Currently, Malice and Verdict comes out. Malice connects onto Mowgli. They're going to be fighting over this Elder Treant. Goop's down, it's burning, and that's going to go to I'm the Doom, I'm pretty sure. Mowgli jumps for it with the Benediction? No. Yeah, he did actually use that. PT Lamb dropped on point, connects. They can't chase anybody down.
They can't. No, they can't. I think this is going to be a quite passive start. We are actually seeing that for the first 4 minutes. There's no kills being carried out so far. But looking at the composition coming from Dynasty Gaming, I am a big fan of the weapon Blackfeather. I think in terms of chase and in terms of actually damage execution, there's a lot there to be said for PT Lab. And if Rikumetsu picks up at Eve first, there's so much sustain that they have in those team fights, because I feel like weapon Blackfeathers, there's such a standard build for them that works extremely well. You know, you go for that Serpent's Mask, or you go for that Breaking Point or something. There's just get 2 tier 3 damage items, and they just completely focus on defensive items, and it's so hard to try and focus that Blackfeather down because he's able to get right.
When he gets that Holy Shield as well.
That's not good, and the Divine Intervention as well. So he's able to sustain at the front line so much longer.
So much sustain, so much protection. Yeah, PT Lamb is going to be a monster as the game goes on. And we'll see if he's able to execute. Benediction jumping forward. Mowgli just trying to play some games here. So Rikumetsu on the right Tri-Brush drops the Goop, but you might be caught out here, Rikumetsu. What are you thinking? Immediately regrets his decision. He's put to sleep the Oblivion, and Apfel's there to clean it up. Apfel dropping low. Fountain should keep him alive, though, as it does come out. Gold Miner needs to drop its aggro off there. It might hit him one more time on his way out. A nice little turn up from Mouse for the first blood here.
Very nice turn up. I do feel part of that was coming out to Rikumetsu being a little bit too far forward, not knowing the position of Mousesports. All 3 of them. It was a 3v1 situation, and also was a bit unfortunate Mowgli did not have the fountain available. He does have enough money to pick it up now, and it was just a bit unfortunate positioning there coming out from Dynasty Gaming. But Mousesports, this is what they need, because this is a triple poke composition there. They can't really go in for those dives that they were able to do the previous game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was just a big mistake. You can't be making those mistakes. Mouse and Vert connecting on to PT Lamb from I'm the Doom, and Mouse kind of poking on to this tier 1 turret here. It's gonna give a little time for Mowgli to rotate up, throws out his benediction, not gonna hang around for some Holy Nova business. Only level 4 on the Grace currently. We're gonna need some levels to come out here, so because you get such a huge power spike when you get that ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now we do with that Lyra, she's been able to throw out those sigils from level 1. So Mousesports are getting that extra sustain that Dynasty Gaming don't have. And to be honest, if you look at the competition wise, Dynasty Gaming, they are playing a competition that takes a little while to ramp up. Okay, rip PT Lamb.
Yeah, he just got smoked. He just got caught out and smoked.
So it takes a little bit of time for them to ramp up, as I was saying, and I don't think we're expecting really any great plays coming up from, not because that their Dynasty or Gaming are bad, but because in terms of composition, I'm not expecting any of those super cool plays coming until like 10 minutes, 15 minutes when they do get to that power spike.
Well, we'll keep that in mind. I find it so weird, like the rotations that Dynasty have made. Like, it's almost 100% their fault that they've died both times. Now, of course, Mouse capitalizing on those opportunities is always important. And we'll see if they can continue to do so. As 3 up in the lane, Dynasty Gaming have collected themselves and are looking to defend here. PT Lamb just trying to get all these last hits. Riki Meza trying to poke the Spitfires. He'll drop the goop. It's not going to be ignited here. Mouse putting out a good amount of damage. Mowgli actually getting focused down. And constant Malice and Verdict's coming out of I'm the Doom. He has his Frostburn. He's sitting on an infusion. So he hasn't chosen to go ahead and pop that infusion yet. It could give them just that little extra burst they need in and through these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And the box as well, the weapon box with the resonance. So even those weapons are still doing a lot of damage there.
Yeah, this turret's going down. There's nothing Dynasty Gaming can do. Wait for it. Comes out. Apfel just letting him know, hey, I have my ultimate and I'm willing to use it.
You're absolutely going to use it. But the whole time, Scarf, Rikamitsa, he has been taking away their farm. So that's a really good play coming out from him. But unfortunately, we are going to be seeing Mousesports getting that gold mine as well with not much contest. So right now we are in the position where Dynasty Gaming, they're 2k gold behind. They've lost 1 turret. But all is not lost because, as I've said time and time again, this is a late game competition. I'm waiting for this comp to come on board. So Rikamitsa, he's gone for that Frostburn. Really good first item pickup. PT Lamb, he has not much defense, but to be honest, I wasn't expecting to pick it up that early on.
Well, as far as his, I mean, you talked about the build coming out. His next weapon item, what would it be?
What would it be? So he's got that sustain. He's got that broken shiv. The shiv. Broken shiv. I think I just combined 2 items there to make
Yeah, it's okay. He's got his poison shiv, his tension bow. So I mean, it's either I'm thinking breaking point. Maybe he goes for Serpent's Mask, but it's all up to him.
I think for Breaking Point or Serpent's Mask, either or would be fine. I think he could go for either, and I would be like, okay, that makes complete sense for Blackfeather to be going for that. He's got a lot of armor pierce right now, which makes sense because that is definitely something we'll be expecting Mousesports to be prioritizing as we get further and further into the game. So right now, just probably getting that Aegis first because I'm the Doom is doing so much in every single team fight with those Malice and Vertex. He's landing them every single time, and to be honest, this is I'm the Doom. His crystal range, his prowess on those crystal range heroes is really impressive.
Very impressive stuff. The Broken Myth, the Eve of Harvest, the 2 items we're looking for that Scarf to complete. Riki Meza, Game 1, I mean, he needs to make up for that performance. Dynasty Gaming, I don't know if they know where Mouse are, actually. Well, yeah. Mouse is going to jump forwards. Mowgli taking the serious amount of damage. That Drifting Dark doing good splash damage. They turned, they jump in, Dragon Breath coming out. They're going to melt time to Doom down. This is Dynasty Gaming. They were waiting with bated breath. They knew all along, Shinyi. Apfel will go down, double kill over here for Riki Meza, and he's gonna chase it. Woo! Sonic Zoom, whoop! They're gonna dodge that out. Goop's down, whoop! He's gonna dodge that out. Apfel 1-2, almost. Apfel trying to make the plays, but in the end, it's Dynasty Gaming taking the ace and just really coming alive here. They were just biding their time.
I mean, from the start of that fight, everyone was like, okay, Dynasty Gaming, they are retreating, there's nothing they can do, and they just had a complete turnaround. We saw Mowgli using his Divine Intervention, and then PT Lamb just dove straight in. He was in the middle of a bulwark against all 3, did not have a care in the world because he was absolutely doing work there, and that's exactly the opportunity that they need, for them to be distracted by PT Lamb, allow Rikamitsa to turn around using his Dragon's Breath as well. And because there wasn't that much shielding, it was doing a lot in those team fights. And this is kind of the opportunity that Dynasty Gaming need. It's for PT Lamb to get right in the right in the forefront, as he did there, and Rookameza just poke from the background.
So good. Plus he had his infusion ready to go. They knew what they were doing. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here in the next few moments. Dynasty Gaming, obviously very capable of taking these fights handedly. Mouse now have the knowledge that their opponents might turn up the aggression onto them at any moment. This means they're going to play a little bit differently. Currently, they are on the gold miner, and this should be going their way, but this is going to be a turret going down as they've decided to make this trade. Apfel drops off the gold miner too late to the lane, and he'll farm up like a couple lane minions, but that is some like serious miscommunication there.
There's miscommunication. They were able to get the gold mine there, and Dynasty Gaming, they've evened the backups to still 2k gold difference between the two teams, but in terms of playing field, turrets wise, it's completely even now, and Mowgli, he does have that divine intervention now. He is level 8, and this is a worrying point here from Mousesports, because they need to focus a particular member down right now. Because it's the triple poke comp coming up from Mousesports, they're going to struggle to be able to do that. They do have the arcane passage, but if they can't get on top of Rookameza and focus him down, they're going to have problems in the future team fights.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have some problems. It's this... It almost like, assuming like everything else is just executing as it should, this kind of comes down to Apfel for me, because it's going to be all about his positioning. Can he dodge on points and spitfires and dance and zigzag his way through this obstacle course of damage to get onto a key target, right? You can imagine Mowgli probably is going to be looking to heal up PT Lamb, but maybe you can switch focus onto Rikimeza at a crucial point in the fight. It's all coming down to Apfel's mechanical abilities here. Spitfire, 1-2, both connect onto Apfel. It's not what he's looking for. And just constantly, Rikimeza continues to throw these out. He's building up broken mist stacks. That one connects onto Ghost. Mouse is going to be able to move backwards here. A precarious position to be in.
A very precarious position. He had 5 broken mist stacks, level 11 crystal infusion as well. And Apfel, he's only one with a kinetic shield. I'm the Doom just testing on that armor there, so we can certainly see that was doing a lot in those team fights. But allowing themselves to be hit by that Spitfire like that is a very dangerous position for Mousesports to be in. They're staying very well clumped up together, and that's ideal for a Scarf.
Oh, it's absolutely ideal for the Scarf. And then at any point, should Mowgli choose to Benedict himself into the fight, and Holy Nova, he's really got a good job. Now, PT Lamb taking a lot of damage, but they just go and sustain and heal him up. They jump forward. This is Ghost taking a lot of damage. Apfel, you got to reposition. Apfel, you got to get out of here. He can't do it. PT Lamb takes him down. Rikimeza will take Ghost 83 down as well. Dynasty Gaming take 2, lose none. I'm the Doom's going to be in his Drifting Dark, throws out his Malice of Verdict, his Benediction comes forward. Holy Nova catches him on the edge, into the goop, and he goes down. That's a combo.
That is a combo, and Dynasty Gaming pulled it off very dirtily there. With that ace there, 6-3, they're going to get the second tower. They're evening up the gold lead as well, so they're now actually 200 gold ahead. And I think with that team fight, I'm just going to go back to this triple poke composition, because the moment that Dynasty Gaming, because they have that Grace and they have that Black Feather there, who have the ability to dive straight onto the members, they have that crowd control coming out from that Holy Nova as well. We did see the War Treads coming out, but I feel like we're not seeing the bulwark being used to its full potential to prevent these dives from happening. And I think if they were able to block them, that does allow the chance. That does give Mousesports the chance to disengage from those team fights. But right now, because they aren't able to block them completely, it's leaving them in a very awkward position. They are losing those team fights. They are triple poke. It's a triple poke. You want to be able to stack up their, you want to be able to stack up that breaking point and that broken myth, but we're not seeing that right now.
It's really hard, I think, for Apfel to start to stack that up. I mean, it's almost like commit and then you just go. Now, he's got a couple breaking point stacks here. There's the wait for it. They've silenced up, like, pull the trigger and go. Go, kill somebody right now. The Atlas Pauldron was applied on the Black Feather, but it's timed out. PT Lamb, you can go if you want. Oblivion did put Mowgli to sleep, and Dragon's Breath really not connecting on anybody. This is a very interesting little fight here. It seems like a lot of abilities not quite connecting, but the Malice of Verdict splashing onto Rikimeza as well as PT Lamb. Oh, you're doing a very good job right now, Doom. Can you follow up? Apfel, he's on target. You can tell Mouse really want to fight a kill, and they're gonna, oh, the on point keeps him alive. PT Lamb, no, defensive backwards, but the attacks are there. You can't get away from Mouse. What are you thinking? Come on, Mousesports, look at this. They're gonna put some damage out. They're gonna take this turret down. I would imagine Sigil's going to heal them up. They move back. The Goop's down. Doom, you're standing, and Goop, Doom, you're burning. Hands are in the air. Not like this. Fellfish broke back. Ghost probably goes down as well. He's trying to juke back and forth. Double kill there for Rikimeza in the end. Apfel's able to get out of it. So, kind of an interesting trade in the end. Mousesports up in net worth, just slightly down in kills. and this is going to be a Kraken attempt here coming out of Dynasty.
Yeah, Vox, the only one left on the map there from Mousesports as well. And to be honest, I'm not expecting much contest. I think he could potentially take down Rickameza and Mowgli, because Rickameza very low on energy, but PC Lamb's here now.
Apfel do it.
Oh no, no, he doesn't.
Wah, wah, wah.
Heal the Sanctuary if he was able to manage that. But I think that the start of that very prolonged team fight kind of shows what happens when everybody kind of misses their skills. Because that is essentially what happened. All the ultimates were thrown out and they kind of missed, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
the Dragon's Breath was a little bit too far away. Mowgli was forced to use his Fountain very early.
Yep.
And Mousesports were able to turn that around, but then they stayed a bit too long, and then Dynasty came back and then turned that around. So extremely scrappy fights now coming out from both teams.
Well, they need to be scrapping at this point. Doom, I wish he was holding that Drifting Dark, but it's okay at this point. He's infused up. There's going to be a jump in there by PT Lamb, and he immediately repositioned back into a safer position. Apfel trying to hit him with the Sonic Zoom, not going to connect. As Mouse moved back, kiting back, getting damage off, stutter stepping, getting the damage onto this Kraken. Rickameza, he just needs a Spitfire. He just needs to land a goop, ignite that goop, get some good damage down. One Vein Crystal turret remaining at this point. Dynasty Gaming, are they going to hang around? Mouse, are you going to pull the trigger and go? Wait for it. It's going to be actually blocked up. But Apfel, he's not in the position with his team. No, this is Doom dropping low. Doom kiting backwards. Apfel actually finds Rickameza on the top side. He's re-engaged. He's 13, 14 breaking point stacks. Apfel, get it. Mowgli, you're just stacked 15. So it get to 16 breaking point stacks. Your stacks on his breaking point at this point. Divine Intervention will come through. I think that turret was going to fall anyway. So in the end, they just stay on to Mowgli. The Vein Crystal will heal up. Mouse still alive.
Still alive. Crystal left, and they're the ones with the gold lead. And what we see here is Ghost. He's been forced to pick up those scout traps, which definitely to be doing considering that you are forced back to the crystal. But we kind of saw what Apfel was able to do once he was able to build up those breaking point stacks. What was he setting out? What was that last number you screamed? Was it 15 that you screamed out? 14, 15? It was a lot.
That's my basic talking voice. And it was no screaming there. 15 or 16? I think it was 16 breaking point stacks.
It was 16 breaking point stacks. And he was able to do a lot there in those team fights. Once he was able to isolate the members aside, I mean, Rickameza, if he's able to get on top of him, who has no armor, he was going down like a ton of bricks there. PC Lamb a little bit more difficult to take off, but Mousesports, they need to win this team fight. And if Mousesports can just bait out those skills ahead, as they did in that last team fight, then that is exactly what they need to stay in this game.
I mean, Mouse, this is a team that loves a good comeback. And we've seen them behind in games. They just hold tight, take 1, 2, 3 good fights in a row.
Oh, I'm
Slowly jumping in with the Benediction. He's going to look for the Holy Nova. He finds the stun. What are you doing, Doom? What are you doing? Why are you there? That's not what you want. Ghost is going to go down. Okay. Gave him the Caster Curse. Apfel is like, okay, team, you see what you've done? You see what you've made me do, team? Now I must jump back in because this is my last resort. Ace for Dynasty. A dominating performance. And it makes you like kind of wonder, I mean, how much of a shot caller is Just Man on this Mouse squad?
I think he's looking at the way they've been performing. I think there's been a major he's a key player in this team, and it's 2-0. It's a 2-0 win there for Dynasty Gaming, and considering that the kind of differential between the first team, which is Mousesports, they have 19 points, SK they have 13, and you know there's a significant difference, and they've lost a little bit of that gap now. Dynasty Gaming, they've got a good chance of moving up from 4th in the standings up to even maybe 3rd, 2nd after this weekend.
Yeah, it'd be very exciting stuff for them, but I mean, I gotta ask, you know, Munch, maybe you can talk with Bacon, Sweej, just like what went wrong for Mouse here? What went so right for Dynasty? It's really impressive stuff.
That is going to be the question, Humanist. Another great game coming out for Dynasty right there. And honestly, especially in the early game, some really good coordination from this team. You saw them working together beautifully and getting those ultimates together, getting the combinations of abilities and turning those fights into victories. And there was a moment in the game as well where they were just backing away, and then suddenly it was all a cunning ruse, and they turned it back on its head.
Yeah, I mean, Mousesports again looked like they lacked kind of the direction that we've seen from them. You have to assume Just Man likely to be the shot caller for them. I'm